Hello, welcome to 15-Minute Consulting Best Practices. My name is Maria Isabel Rios, and I'm here with David Fields. Hello, David.
Good morning, Maria Isabel. It's good to see you.
Great to see you too. And we're here to answer your questions about how to create more growth, more success for your consulting firm. So chime in with questions, add to the discussion. This is a highly interactive session. The only piece is we don't know we're here unless you comment. And it takes us a minute to see what you post. So start commenting early, say hello, and participate by all means.
And I think you should, if you're live today, let us know you're here and ask a question which you don't think Maria Isabel can answer. I think that's the goal for today. I didn't tell you that, Maria Isabel. That's going to be our goal. All right.
There you go. Hello, John.
Hi, John.
Last week, we had a couple questions that were open that we didn't get to. So, Jaren, if you can, please bring up the first question that was open from last week.
How do you see upskilling junior and mid-level consultants given AI and tech complexity? Helpful or encouraging coasting? Okay, Maria Isabel, why don't you do that one? Maybe this will stop.
All right. Upskilling junior, mid-level consultants, helpful, encouraging coasting. Okay, got it. Okay, turn. Thank you. All right. When we see AI as a tool, right? So it's here to stay. Got to learn how to use it effectively, like any other tool we have. I don't know if the Chicago Bears will win the Super Bowl, so stop me for sure. So AI, right? We got to allow people to learn how to improve the quality of their outcomes. And so how can we help people learn AI and leverage as a tool and give them more space so that they can focus on getting better outcomes for you, getting better outcomes for clients, and ensuring that the quality of what they're putting on the table is as high as possible. So the way I think about it is the same way, for example, you would double check any Excel modeling tools, right? And you can tell I'm a dinosaur because I'm talking about Excel modeling versus the newer tools, right? But you will double check. You will, at least at the very beginning, put tools in places that will tell you, okay, if I did it one way versus with the newer add-ons and the newer tools, do I get to the same place, or am I roughly in the same place? You will do the same thing with AI. So I would encourage junior, mid-level folks on your team to learn how to double check that the AI is giving them the best answer possible, right? And it's giving them credible answers, it's giving them valuable information so that the quality of the solutions is as high as it can be. And then they gain effectiveness in their work. Now, if your firm's strategy, which is why I don't quite know from your question, if your firm's growth strategy is to work with junior and mid-level consultants and upskill them, then definitely invest in AI as another tool that you're going to use to upskill them. If instead your firm's growth strategy is to work with very senior people, then you can expect them to have learned on their own to work with AI as a tool and bring that to your firm. Hopefully that's the case. David, where do you stand with this? What's your take?
I mean, I agree. And also, by the way, hi to John and Dan and Daniel and Sonnet and Shankar. And no, the Chicago Bears won't win the Super Bowl. Sorry. Yeah, so it's AI is a tool, just like my slide rule. I just said that to make you feel better about the Excel.
Thank you very much. I know what a slide rule is, so we're good there.
I don't totally understand capturing the concern about coasting, because to me, what we're trying to do is create the most amount of value, deliver revenue. So revenue and value are end up being equivalent with the least amount of labor intensity. And so if you can deliver if AI enables you to deliver twice the value, twice the revenue with half the number of people, and the people that you do need can work half their time, great. That's awesome. and they have a better quality of life, and you're still able to deliver great value for your clients and high margin, perfect. I guess that's kind of where I come out.
So before we jump into the next question, and I see James, thank you for posting a question. Yeah. We had a question from last week that was John's, and I see, John, that you're here. So James, we see you. Let's get to John's question from last week, which we owe you an answer to, and then we'll get to your question from this week. Okay, so Jaren, if you can. What was
the question?
Or to Josh question. All right. Josh. All right. So the question was, do you have any strategies for how to approach follow-up email once a proposal is sent and you're waiting to hear back, but no timeline was provided on a decision? Okay, so the question was from Josh. Sorry.
Yeah, I remember now.
Okay, we're going to answer it anyway.
Because I said, I'll give you a really straightforward answer to that. It's a really simple answer. Wait till next week. Well, it's next week. So I do have a straightforward answer. I don't know, Josh, and the rest of you, whether you'll like this answer, but here's my answer. Don't get in that situation. Right. There should be no situation where you submit a proposal and there isn't a firm next date to discuss that proposal on your calendar. That's just to be an operating rule for you and your firm. Perhaps the only exception is if you're bidding on an RFP and you have no interaction with the decision maker, but that should be an exception for your firm. So really, this isn't something you should need a well codified routine or process around, because it shouldn't be something you encounter. That said, I'll be kind. And imagine Josh is in a situation where you actually did have it all set up and you had a follow-up scheduled, but somehow the decision maker ghosted you, or somehow else your scheduled session got off track. In that case, use our ghosting sequence. So we have a ghosting sequence. It's a sequence of 8 messages. It's in an article which I put out in 2023, and I will, because I remembered this question from last week, I'm going to re-release that article this week. So on Wednesday, check the article. I will give you the ghosting sequence again. Also, we updated it. We modified it slightly since 2023. That's my quick answer. Is that okay, Marie-Isabel, or is there something else you want to throw in there? All right.
Perfect. All right, let's get to James' question.
Okay. So as James says, if you are working with an existing client, how do you set yourself up to help them tackle other problems that are identified during your engagement? Oh my gosh, this is such a softball. Thank you so much, James. Versus just saying, you need to have your team tackle this problem without being seen as pushy or self-serving consultant, because no one likes a pushy, self-serving consultant. What do you think, Marie-Isabel?
Well, there's a couple of things, right? As part of your engagement, you're hopefully having touch points with your decision maker, your sponsor, whomever you call, whatever you call the highest person at your client, right? The leader at your client team member. And your touch points are not only, this is what we're doing, and this is going well, and this is not going so well, but they're also about the big picture of what's going on. And that's a conversation that's more about their general strategy. In that conversation, we generally want you to have a couple of items on the agenda. One of them, it's what's going on in your world that we don't get to see, that we should know about, and that will allow us to do a better job in this project, right? Because there may be other things happening that will impact the way you're delivering your work. That's one thing we want you to always think and have on your agenda. The other thing you want to have on your agenda is, these are other things that we're surfacing in this project. It's the other side of that coin, right? That may impact how you're thinking of other elements of your work and of other elements of your day-to-day or other areas of your business. And these are things we're learning where there are gaps or where we have identified needs that are outside the scope of this work. We just want to put them on your radar as well. And so what you're creating is a very natural space to talk about priorities, to talk about an arc for your client of needs and priorities and what's important for them that goes beyond the scope of your project. And now you're in a conversation again, right? Kind of like the way you did at the beginning of the project when you talked about their situation and what were their desired outcomes and what were their goals. You're having regular touch points where you're regrounding yourselves around what's important in their world. In those situations, if there's really an opportunity, you say, you know what, out of the 7 things we talked about today, thing number 3, number 5, number 7 are right up our alley. Would you be open to having a conversation about how we can support you on those as well? And you've made the turn once again. That's one way you could address it. David, how would you address it?
Yeah.
Same, different?
Well, same. And as we advise a lot of our clients I would build an opportunity assessment right into the project. Right. So it is absolutely fair for you and high value of you, as Maria Isabel just pointed out, for you to be bringing other opportunities to your client, especially if they're not all things that you can help with. Some of them you can help with is great. I would literally build that in as a step of your project. 8 weeks into the project or 10 weeks or whatever, after you've done a bunch of assessment and interviewed a whole bunch of people and uncovered a bunch of stuff, or maybe it's 6 months, whenever works for you, you say, we want to sit down with the senior people, with you, the decision maker, a couple of your peers, and we're going to show you some other things we've seen that are not related to this project or not directly related. If you build it in, then it's part of the process.
Right.
So James, let us know whether that makes sense, whether you have questions about that. And we have a whole process and recommendations around how to do an opportunity assessment.
Right.
But let us know if you still have questions or anybody else has questions or does it a different way. Chime in.
And yes, to John's point, I think there are a couple of articles. Look for opportunity assessments as a keyword when you're looking for articles, John. And also look for how do you do kind of strategy sessions, vision meetings.
Vision meetings. Because we do opportunity assessments and vision meetings. We usually talk about those two in the same time as ways to expand your business with current clients. And so there's probably some articles out there.
Right. And don't underestimate, as you're working with clients, the importance of abstracting yourself from the day-to-day and continuing to have a strategic conversation with the most senior folks as your clients, right? It's very tempting to sit down and talk very tactically about kind of action item number 1, action item number 2, action item number 3, and troubleshoot around the day-to-day of your project. But every once in a while, a minimum every 2 months, sit down, if you have a longer tail project, right? Let's sit down and say, set it aside as a different space. Have that conversation that's more strategic in nature. That keeps you at a peer level with your senior most clients. That's where more opportunities surface. That's where you can say, hey, we're observing there's a gap here and there is a gap here. And, do you guys take it on? Do we take it on together? Do you need help? Right.
Excellent. In 15 seconds, John asked, how does a junior level consultant double check AI output for accurate and effective outcomes? What do you think, Maria Isabel? But you got to do it tight because we're hitting the bottom of the hour.
I think you ask AI for things you know the answers to within your data, things you can actually validate, and you make sure you're getting elements you can actually verify, right? See that those are within parameters. Check that the data makes sense, that the answers you're getting actually jive with what you're expecting.
Yeah, good. There you go. That's how you do it, John. A little bit of spot checking. Perfect. And with that, amazingly, we've almost hit our 15 minutes. So thank you for spending this 15 minutes with Maria Isabel and with me. If there's anything you might want to go back to, just save it on LinkedIn, and that way you'll be able to refer right back to it. One quick thing, because it's popped up this morning, and for those of you who are here, I want you to be aware of it in case you can take advantage of it. A seat just became available for the upcoming Solo Practice Accelerator on September 7th and 8th, which is really rare because it's hard to get into the program. If you've not been in a Solo Practice Accelerator and you are a solo consultant, I would grab the seat today. So I would go in and grab that. And Jaron, thank you. Put the link up there. And it's just something unfortunate happened with someone who was attending. So that's there. All of you know already, I think, to put Monday Live, davidafields.com Monday Live on your calendar so you come back and join us. And you know that if you're not subscribed, you want to see that article on the ghosting sequence, subscribe. Thank you, Jaron. And please connect to Maria Isabel and to me on LinkedIn if you're not connected already. LinkedIn David A. Fields, LinkedIn M.I. Rios. And that's it. Thank you for joining us. Just remember, and as you have this amazing week coming up, that consulting is not about you, it's about them, about your clients and your prospects. So give them value and be kind to them. And Maria Isabel and I will see you next week. Take care, all.
Thank you.